Okay, so the FDR is designed assuming there's competitive play. So when we got to see competitive play seasons, you would have a map where you might have a contested cap because it's equally between both teams, and you have a safe cap and another safe cap. Well, if your team spawns in the north, you've got your CV, whatever, they've got the enemy CV, and they're going to send somebody over. They're eventually going to take their cap, and you're going to send somebody, or eventually you're going to take your cap. And depending on how it comes out, you most likely have two ships over here on this side. They're probably going to mirror you, just in general. And all of the rest of the ships, you'll have 4 of them, are over here. Kind of in a group, or at least kind of loosely grouped, depending on how they're doing it. 4 ships is more than what normal CVs are designed for. That's typically a lot of AA. And if you're playing in competitive and there's a carrier, odds are you're picking a ship that has AA that does not suck. So if you're trying to come in and strike this, because of the amount of AA, you can lose a lot of planes and sometimes get bullied out of the strike completely. So what does the FDR do? The FDR has so much health that you can rip through the AA, the fortified position, and be able to strike into something. Maybe you threaten it with torps and you cause it to move. Or, I mean, it takes the damage. There's always that option. But it might move out of its fortified position because you battering rammed through the available AA to get out to the other side. You may have lost 4 planes. You may have lost 6 planes to do it. But you're able to get through it even if they've got defensive fire and they've got ships on top of each other, because that's what it's designed for. You have so much health that you're going to be able to breach in to make the strike. You're only going to be able to do that once or twice, though, because you have 14 planes. If you lose 4 planes and then you shoot with 2, that's going to be 6 out of 14. You only get to do that twice before you have to leave. And you may not even get to do it twice. But when you have a contested cap right here, you are able to live on top of this and break through. Or you have the ability with 14 planes to have so much health that if you instead go over and you start to harass these 2 ships may not be strong enough to really bully you off, which means you get to attack and then spin around and then attack and then spin around and then attack and then spin around and then attack. But theoretically in competitive play, the enemy CV is aware and can come over and provide some kind of fighter support so that the FDR doesn't just get to attack over and over. Or the enemy CV can intercept the FDR and drop fighters and kill planes that way, or force it to recall and leave its friends alone. The FDR is designed around competitive play. So is it balanced in terms of that? With the new fighter consumables? Sure. Because I can see how it works as long as you can bully the FDR with fighters and fortified AA positions, which is stuff that a competitive team is going to be able to do. But when you remove the competitive play and you have random battles where suddenly, instead of being in this nice compact blob or this nice overlapped formation, or you have 2 ships that have reasonable AA that are working together to do something, you have people that just kind of scatter in all sorts of silly directions, then it's very easy for an enemy FDR to come over and find the one battleship that decides to be off in the back of the map and just live on top of this guy constantly. And if you're in a random battle, the enemy CV might not even care. They might just be off doing something else. So this person just gets hit and hit and hit and hit, and because they isolated themselves, the FDR can absolutely dominate them like some guerrilla insurgency force. That being said, is that a problem with the FDR? Or is that a problem with the battleship that didn't take the FDR didn't respect what the FDR could do? Is it okay that the battleship decided to leave and go into a different direction rather than knowing this dude could call me, this dude could come over and jump me if I do this? It kind of goes both ways. Is it the FDR's fault when somebody mispositions? Is it the battleship's fault when a cruiser gamer turns in front of them? No. Hey, this is right here. I'm going to take this. Is it the destroyer's fault when a battleship just sails in a straight line and eats a whole bunch of torpedoes? No. The destroyer got the kill, was able to take advantage of the situation. But the issue with the FDR is there's so much health that without a coordinated response, it feels like it lives forever and it's just a constant oppressive threat. But with a coordinated response, it can actually be managed and bullied, which is what I do in ranked games against FDR. That's why I run the fighter builds that I do.